All right, we can cross now live to Associate Professor of Economics at the University of Helsinki, Tuomas Malinen. Professor, good to have you on the program with us. EU countries are looking to increase their defense spending, warning of a possible war against Russia. Considering, though, the existing economic challenges the Union faces, how relevant do you think these arguments actually are?
I think they are rather irrelevant. The EU or member countries simply don't have the funds, and there's also I don't think the population of Europe is really ready for sacrificing their welfare states for this push for a war state.
Do you think that the soon-to-be German chancellor's push for shared nuclear capabilities reflects a genuine commitment to peace?
Well, no, I don't. It has been a long-standing idea in Europe that we keep away from nuclear weapons, except for France having its own nuclear arsenal and like the UK. So that's not really a peaceful notion if we think about the concept of nuclear deterrence over Europe. I don't think bringing nuclear weapons to, for example, Poland would really be an actual effort for peace. Quite the opposite, actually.
How do you think a return to a nuclear arms race between Moscow and the West would likely affect the global economy?
Well, I don't think the effects of global economy would be too great. Maybe, well, of course, there would be some heavy investments that would need to be done on nuclear production facilities, etc. But I don't think, well, when nuclear tensions would flare up, then naturally we would see more uncertainty in the markets and in the economy. But in general, I don't think the effects would be very, there would probably not be great effects.
What about increasing military collaboration among Western countries? What kind of effect would that have on long-term peace efforts?
Well, that's a difficult question to answer because we first have to know that what they're planning to do. So on Tuesday, I understood there is a first meeting of the coalition of the willing, which well, we can also call it some kind of allied forces, Axis force even, which tends to they present themselves as a peacekeeping force, but I don't see how putting European NATO country troops on ground in Ukraine would really help the situation there. I think it would just create the precedent for a wider and a spread conflict that would eventually engulf the European continent.
Why do you think we're seeing this focus on nuclear weapons rather than looking at the root causes of the conflict between Russia and the West? Do you think this is just a means of distraction?
No, I think it's actually a means of escalation. Because during the Cold War, we had a long period of increase in nuclear tensions, and they were always escalationary in nature. So I don't really see this anything else but a push for a wider conflict in Europe, and which in worst case could end to actual nuclear confrontation with Russia, which of course would be utterly devastating.
All right, Associate Professor of Economics at the University of Helsinki, Tuomas Malinen. Professor, thank you.